This Notion for writers. I'm going to teach you some things about Notion that you can use to make your writing life better. For now, can someone just send a hey or something so that I know that the link has connected, because sometimes that happens and we definitely don't want that. For now, the disclaimer once again is this is Notion for writers. Notion is a hierarchical software that you can use for a lot of different things. But one thing that I think makes it such a good tool for writers is it acts like an idea repository. Two things about Notion that you need to know is it has pages, it has databases. The important thing for writers is pages. Okay, so we'll be focusing more on that. And I'll show you a bit of the databases that you can use and you should use, specifically the inline stuff. So just one hi, one hello, something of that sort, so that I know that LinkedIn has picked up the link. YouTube always picks up the link easily, but LinkedIn, for some weird reason, I don't know. Sometimes the lives just don't connect. But my banner seems to be active on LinkedIn. I just checked. So I'm going to assume that you guys can see this and just get started. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and ooh, there you go. So this is the first thing you're going to do. This is just take a screenshot of this. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a screenshot of this. These are shortcuts that I think are useful for writers, primarily because, shortcuts are nice, right? Instead of going here and then looking for heading 1, I can simply go hashtag space. I can go hashtag space heading 1, right? So shortcuts are very, very useful in this regard. They make your life easier. So take a screenshot of these. These are, I think, the shortcuts that you'd need as a writer. I will assume that you have already formed a Notion board, or rather you have a Notion account. So you will have access to something like this. For now, I will make my sidebar appear so that you can see it properly. So these things that you see, these things, these are all pages where my marker is moving right now, where the clicker is moving, and pages are pages within. Let me show you my LinkedIn board. So this is a page, okay, Notion. Now this is a page, newsletter. This is the text that you generally see in my newsletters. Comment text. This is the text I generally use to send to guests who I invite on my lives. So this is pages within pages of Notion. And the difference between this and Google document is in Google Docs, you have to link everything out. Whereas in Notion, everything links in, right? So because of this linking in thing, no pun intended for LinkedIn, because the documents link inwards, it becomes easier. Let me, I think, show you. My blogs page would be a good example of that. So these are multiple blogs that are in progress, and all of this is linking inside. Okay, it is not going outside. So I can at any and every given point in time know what I'm working on, and it just makes my life super easy, barely an inconvenience, as Ryan George would say. So without further ado, let's start learning how you can do it. So initially, when you join Notion, you will see some templates that they already have placed for you to use. If you don't want to use them, and I didn't, I deleted them straight away. So you can do that as well. And then you will see this, right? This plus icon where it says add a page. So go there and add a page. This is how you begin your Notion boards. Okay. So it's super simple. It's just about clicking something. And this is where we go into pages and databases. Okay. Databases are, I'll show you a database. Wait. So that it becomes clear to you let's see the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program, because that is something I think a lot of you probably saw. So there you go, right? This is a database. and I can recall this database anywhere and get away with it. Similarly, wait, this is a database, right? I can just see things that are YouTube. I can see things that are LinkedIn posts, essays. I can just do a recall and it becomes easy. And then I can pull all of this information in any other document. So this is a database and this is a page. Okay. Uh, I'm going to show you how to do both. Uh, in databases, because it is very, very complicated, I'm just going to show you that which I use, that which I think is important to writers. Okay, so let's call this blah, because blah 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 blah, pqrst and xyz and abc are my favorite ways of writing undefined text. This is your page has formed itself. You can click on this icon and give it any kind of a cute shape and color that you want. Let's give it a compass and let's color it yellow, because why not? Uh, there you go, right? Now to move forward, when you have normal presses, that is going to be your text, okay? And if you want to invoke any other function, this is where you will go and click on this plus icon. Okay, so you will see text, you will see page, you will see to-do lists, right? So here you can say go live on LinkedIn, for example. There you go. I've already done it. So done, right? That's a to-do list. Similarly, you can do the same for tables. You can form tables and say things to do, things I hate, things I love, blah, blah, blah. And this is how you basically keep using these different functions that Notion gives you, right? So my favorites honestly are to-do list, bullets, text, then the image embeds. Let me show you that. Oh, which reminds me, there's a shortcut. Okay, you can use a shortcut to, instead of clicking on that plus icon, you can just click on the slash icon. Okay, and the backslash that you see on your keyboard, and then you can simply just scroll through and see what is important. So say I want to embed a bookmark, for example. Let me embed my website, because of course I'm going to embed my website. I clicked on it by mistake. Hold on. Let's come back to Notion. Uh, go on the backsplash. Oh, go on the backsplash. See, this tells you how new I am to sharing my screen and teaching people how things. Web bookmark. Now this is where I will paste the link and create the bookmark, and voila, right? It is for perusal whenever, wherever you want to see it, however many times you want to see it, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now for a second because I need to see if there are any comments. I still have no idea whether this is happening, by the way. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, there are comments. Great. Hello, Sandeep. Thank you so much for joining in. For those of you who don't follow Sandeep Nair, please follow him right now. He writes amazing content, big fan. Then there's Rahul Mandal. I mean, I have fangirled about Rahul during one entire life. I think that was about writer's block. So, matlab, Rahul ko bhi follow kar lena. Then there's Ritesh Sabrawal. I hope I didn't mispronounce your surname, Ritesh, but he's so generous with his financial advice to people and things like that. Okay, I haven't gotten the link, but got it now. Which link, Sandeep? Can you clarify which link? Because I have no clue what link I was referring to a moment ago. Then we have Jatin in the house. Yay, I'm an avid user of Notion myself, but this is awesome, Vinati. Thank you. Of course, I mean, anyone who has high output, no, I think they use some kind of softwares. It's either Notion, it's either inbuilt notes apps. It's something, because these apps just make things so much easier. I want to know what was Okay, I'll tell you what's in it. So I was watching, like, this is funny. I was watching people. I was watching like these cow herders do wo upale hote hain, right? The cow dung that they have, and they take it on the wall and they stick it, and then it dries, and that is what we use. So I had this epiphanic moment, Rahul, ki this is exactly what we do for content. Ki we take a lot of shit and we fling. I'm so sorry. We fling it to the wall, and then something sticks, and then that something dries up, and then we can use it for multiple things, right? So that is my yeah, shit strategy. I'm working on making it sound not so funny, but there you go. Oh, blah to yourself. Yes, of course, Ichiro-san, you have to blah to yourself. It is fun. Loving this session. Thank you so much for joining in, Neha. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Ritesh. Anamika coming in with a comment that is not showing on the screen. Just joined. Glad to see you live. Thank you so much. And oh my God, there's a problem. Okay, I'm getting two feeds. The video is lagging the audio by a considerable amount. Okay, let's do this. Let me remove these. Probably these are creating the problem. Is the audio fixed now? Let me know, Sandeep, because I think sometimes the technology works against you. I don't know. Uh, Someone else, please let me know the audio is happening properly, because otherwise I'm going to keep lying, and then the audio is not going to sync up. The analogy, though. I know, Anamika. I know. The analogy is, it's not leaving my head, and I actually made a reel on Instagram about this. Ki chote chote poop emojis are dancing and stuff like that, but I don't know how to make it palatable for common audiences, right? For uh, people who don't know me and don't understand my love for potty humor, because potty humor is the best in my opinion. Okay, can't hear now. It's fine. Yes, I can hear you now. It's audible. Thank you so much for letting me know, Sandeep. वरना पता नहीं पूरी audio जाती, and I would not have been audible. Anywho, let us continue. Notion for writers. I'm going to go back into sharing my screen. So I will come back to the comments later on. Last वाली comment मैंने पढ़ी थी. Now it's audible. Putting it as a reference for me and sharing my screen. Oh, thank you so much for joining in, Charmika. Yay! I'm having so many celebrities show up today. I'm absolutely awestruck. Apparently, doing a live on Saturday works because people are available. Noted to self. Chalo, anyway, let's go back to Notion and share my screen. Chrome tab, and I'm sharing blah, which is so ironic, but that's what I do. I'm sharing blah. Okay, so we did the backslash thing where you can do different embeds, right? So a lot of people embed images, a lot of people embed videos from YouTube. You can embed audio, you can write code, right? Whatever. I'm not going to make you type hello world over here, because मैं engineering छोड़ दिया है. So now no. You can also embed files in the free plan of Notion. You have up to 5 MB, and then they have paid versions. Honestly, I have never embedded a file here, because for embedding files I have Google Drive. So that is where I mostly have my files. On Notion, I like to have a very sleek kind of a thing. So I don't even have all of these integrations. But those of you who are extremely active on Slack, on all of these different platforms, Trello, Jira, then Asana. Asana is a very good I think Kanban version of Notion. Same with Trello, I think. So you can embed all of these different apps that you use already into Notion without any issues and problems. Okay, so if you use other things as well, it's not like you won't be able to use Notion at all. So this is it for adding things into Notion. Then let us come to databases, okay? Because for databases, there are two ways. The easy, lazy way that I follow, okay, this is what I call easy, lazy way for a reason. Mehnat mat karo. Notion is an app that's designed to help people with their information collection and analysis needs. So, Notion as a company, they definitely are solving for a problem. And because they're solving for a problem, the kind of templates they have available are good. They are really, really good. So, all you have to do is you have to customize them for your needs. Okay, so go on templates, and that is going to like open this gigant or list. Now, all you have to do is scroll through what is relevant in your personal preferences and things like that. So let's see this quick note thing, right? So this quick note thing is, as you can see, there's a place where you can randomly put text. There's a place where you have specific headlines. There's a to-do list. There are sub pages, meaning page within page, like just like how in my LinkedIn page there was a Notion page, there was a live text page. Bas wahi wala, that is a sub page. And then there are embedded links that I showed you. You can put images, etc. etc. So this is something you can do on your own. तो ये इसमें मजा नहीं आया. Let's go to journal. Now see, this probably seems interesting because it is giving me like these tags and it is giving me these options that I can customize and use. So all I have to do is basically go or select on this, go use this template, and the template is going to upload itself, right? Then all you have to do is go inside, add things, deduct things, say I don't like this happenings wala thing, right? Because I personally like did this lists more than to do lists. So I'm gonna call this, let's say, did this, and I'm gonna add a bullet list because why not? Bullets are always nice. I started a LinkedIn live, yay! Because of course I did. I'm gonna write it down. Intention is do a good live and have fun, right? So these are ways in which you can customize your Notion board using templates very easily. And यहाँ पे बस आपको बस यहाँ जा जाके edit करना है, right? So instead of calling it my entries, I'm gonna call it my shit-tastic day because I like shit humor. I don't know why. Okay. And there you go. You can customize it however you want. You can make it appear in different views. So in Notion, you have this thing called views. Okay. Currently, it's in the list view. You can give it the board view or the gallery view, right? इसका gallery view अच्छा नहीं आएगा. I will show you what you can also have it in the Kanban view. So we'll see example of that with another template. But basically, if you prefer this format, I prefer multiple formats for multiple things. Okay, this is just it. So you can have these kind of funs with different formats and things of that sort. So this is the lazy way of getting databases working for you. The difficult way, or the one with a bit of a learning curve, and it's not a steep learning curve, it's an easy learning curve. अपनी plus पे जाओ, right, and scroll down. You're going to see inline. There you go, database inline. Okay, and this is where you can start building those lists and tables on your own. So say for example that notes page of mine that you see, right, that's a table I've built on my own based on notes. Then instead of tags, I call it platform because I will take platform specific notes, and I'll have multi select on because it can be multiple platforms, जैसे कि YouTube, LinkedIn, Reddit, sorry, spelling गलत लिख दी, Reddit, Twitter. Okay, so now I can do blah, and then again I will add one more where I'll have my text based notes. Key I saw this post and I liked it and I learned from it. To hit enter, press shift plus return or shift plus enter. Okay. Within the database, just pressing enter will take you to the next line. But if you want to create a break within the text, go shift plus enter. And then you go, this is what I learned. Okay. And this is what you do. Similarly, you can add numbers. Say time spent. Not time spent, because time के लिए I can put clock also. Numbers में क्या लिखते हैं? Insights taken. This is so wank puffing me. I don't do this. I absolutely don't do this. But you can totally do it if you want to. Then you can add dates. Okay. And you can select what format you want and you can go for it. So you can, oh, you can keep going. You can keep going through building this database for yourself. And once you have built that database, save it as a template, because then all you will have to do is go click on plus and then pull templates. Okay, see, I have 3 different templates. This is the template that I use professionally for things that I'm too excited about, and so therefore I will lose my thread of thought immediately. So this to stay on topic. Okay, I'm sorry, but you have to know who you are as a person, right? And I do. So that is why it has a skull next to it. It's a personal problem that I'm working on fixing. But abhi ye hai. Then there is my content consumption template where you saw those gigantic notes with YouTube and all of this. And then this is the work template where I have, I mostly collaborate with my clients in using this format where I just have documents. I have the progress, right? Started, starting, in progress, in edit, completed, etc., etc. And then there's a place for comments and the date on which the document was created. Taki we can track when it began and when we started. So all you have to do is just invoke your database and the database will tapak say drop in your lap. So I have saved different databases. Just say if you come here, I have the content consumption template, which looks like this. It is completely empty. But every time I start something content consumption related, say this was for the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator notes, वो अपने आप that database gets pulled. I don't have to create the same template again and again. Similarly, this is the one for notes, right? Another database that I have is, I can't show you the work one क्योंकि वहाँ पे मेरे client के नाम है and I'm a ghostwriter. I apologize, but yeah, basically you have to make these type of templates to make your job easy. And once you start working in that way, Notion will become easy breezy, right? So you can either directly import a template from Notion, wherein you don't have to work hard at all. All you have to do is you have to just go on these top parts and call it notesy portsy or whatever you want to call it. However, you choose to name things and however you choose to define things, up to you. And then you have to make edits to those templates versus going on the backsplash and creating an inline database template of your own and then using that template again and again and again whenever you need it. Okay. Other collaborative advantage of Notion is I can invoke anyone here. Let's say I invoke Anisha, who's currently not on my board because I'm working on her board as I edit her book. But I can invoke any person who has share access. To give share access, go on top and give people access to your specific Notion board. Okay, and then voila, done. And then you can mention them, right? Mention the person and they will be able to come here, very similar to what we do for Google Documents. Another good thing that you can use as a writer is at reminder. So you add reminders, right? Just say you have to complete, because as I said, I am working with a lot of people on the Notion board. So tomorrow I have to work with this person, or the day after I have to work with that person,
और एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. सो इनकी डेडलाइन टुमारो है, इनकी डेडलाइन 15 को है, इनकी डेडलाइन 18 को है, डिपेंड्स. So you can use these kind of functionalities to stay on track. Okay, so this is it. And let's also discuss views. यहाँ पे देखो आपको टेबल दिख रहा है. From there you can change the view to, I hope it lets us, board view. Okay, timeline view, calendar view. I personally don't like calendar view at all because देख के ऐसे डर लगता है, अरे सब भरा भरा है. I like to be free. And if your calendar complete, I like to assume to be free. And then you see that your calendar is jam packed and you're like, emotional damage, anxiety. No, no. So I don't use the calendar view at all. I mostly use the table view and the board view, sometimes list view. But yeah, mostly I am using table view and board view because these are the productivity systems that I prefer. You can also have the gallery view. Gallery view is for those of you who are into content strategy. Gallery view would be a godsend because you have to coordinate aesthetics for social media strategy. I mean, I know we are not supposed to compromise the art, but we have to. Right? Like Colin and Samir said in one of their recent episodes, there's the artistry and there's the algorithm, and we have to be in the middle if we want to be a successful creator. So if you have to coordinate aesthetics, I have not really used this. क्योंकि देखो, if you look at my Instagram board also, no, अरे I'm live यार, क्यों मेरे को परेशान कर रहा है? Anyway, so if you look at my Instagram board also, I don't have the aesthetics view because I'm not serious about Instagram. I am time. Look at all of these weird songs. This is the kind of stuff I do. So I don't see a point in coordinating a social media strategy for my Instagram. But then whenever I decide to become serious about it, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But if it does happen, something like something like this kind of a view, a gallery view, helps you plan better for what your final product, for your end product is going to look like. So I'm once again going to stop sharing my screen to come and see if there are any comments and doubts and things like that. If you have any doubts, put them in the comments right now taki I can specifically address them. Also going to slip this in the comments of this live, there's a webinar link. If you want to ask very very specific questions that you don't feel comfortable asking on a live, you can join that webinar. It's free and it will happen on Topmate's internal software. I don't know what it's called. I'll ask and get back to you about that. But yeah, if you have specific doubts that you want solved on a video call, it's happening from 4 p.m., which is why my mobile was backing in the background. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and if you have any doubts, ask them now. Okay. Okay, there's a shit comes to all of us naturally, not everyone. Okay, Rahul, I'm going to quote you on this in my article. Then there is, I have been using Notion for daily EOD journaling every night. It's a good habit I've picked up. Oh, same, Rahul. I also use Notion for journaling. It is under my task page on the board that was shared. And I do it I didn't show that to you guys because वहां पे मतलब भारी टीपी चल रहा है. Okay, then it would be like she really had to go out in something she's tracking. But I did because I really like being indoors and I have to remind myself कि आप इंसान हो, बाहर जाइए. So, yeah, anyway, I completely agree with this. I think digital journaling, while it does not feel as poetic and as Instagram friendly of an aesthetic as physical journaling in notebooks, digital journaling is much more practical. I think one of the main reasons why people stop journaling is journaling has that barrier to entry. Key people go into it with specific expectations of, oh, it's going to do this for me or that for me. It's digital में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है because digital में you are anyway like I can delete it later. I can delete it later. So the main purpose of journaling, which is having you empty your thoughts and having you express yourself at least once a day somewhere without there being any societal expectations of anything. I think digital journaling definitely is very, very beneficial in that regard. Nothing needs fixing. It is what it is as long as it works. Absolutely. It absolutely is. If it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't have to make sense for anyone as long as it works for you. Uh, Rahul Mandal, yes, Grandmaster Ogwe. Yes, there are no accidents. Which reminds me, there was like this whole conversation that happened on Reddit. I don't remember which subreddit this happened on exactly, but it was people discussing how Ogwe probably was a master troll, and as his final trolling event on Earth, he just pointed to the fluffy looking panda and went, yeah, अभी तुम संभाल लो मेरा तो हो गया bye. That was such a funny Reddit to be on. I'm gonna find it and share it with Sandeep and Rahul, both of you, because it was so funny. Uguay fans would definitely love it. And yes, I agree. I agree with you, lols. We have Denise Burgess. I have heard about Notion a lot, but recently began using it. Just getting used to it. Oh, definitely. Notion is amazing in certain regards. What it is not good at, I'll tell you that also, because say for instance you try to select a lot of text, right? You try to select a lot of text, and then you do uh, command A or control A, select all, then command C or control C, copy, and then command V or control V, paste, right? That's very simple, no problem in every other software, but in Notion it sometimes creates a problem because uh, they mostly have a drag and shoot type of a thing rather than moving things the way that we used to. So I think in those regards, maybe yes, Notion is, it's a bit more problematic, but in other regards, specifically in putting information in one place and then having the recall value of the information. Oh, I will go back to my Notion board and show you how to do search, because it is important. See, if you are a content creator, if you are a writer, unfortunately, being a member in the arts these days is coming with, fortunately and unfortunately, it's coming with this expectation of being on all the time, in terms of you have to create not just for your work, for your jobs, you have to also create for your brand. You have to create to appease the no one is forcing us, but it's just, if you want to be if you want to be successful in the commercial metrics of it all, karna padta hai na, you have to do it. So creating all the time becomes difficult, right? So on days when creating is difficult, you can recreate, or better yet, curate information instead of create, right? Because nobody, I think there's no creator on this planet who can come up with super insightful things every single day if they are a solo run or operation. They don't have a team behind them, they are just working alone on their stuff and their brand and everything. So it becomes difficult. So that is where having this knowledge repository like Notion, and again, knowledge here doesn't refer to anecdotal factual stuff, it refers to a lot of different things. It refers to what you were feeling at a certain point in time, right? Say for instance, when I will be making these paywalled articles public, where I have talked about Hayao Miyazaki and a lot of his process, um, you will see my journal entries that were stored on my Notion. Again, it's not that cutthroat of an idea, but an author thinking through what they think of another creator, another author, and how meeting this person reduced me to absolute tears. Like, I have melted down like a child to the point that he said, are you baby? So uh, it's having these things available to you when you need them. It's not that you need them all the time, but on the days that you do, when you have to appease certain aspects of consistency, you can rely on curation rather than creation, right? And also, I have heard this a lot. Ki I quote, I have good recall of things. basically when you create notes, no, that is the unforeseen advantage of note taking in platforms like Notion or Obsidian or whatever you prefer. The unforeseen advantage is because you are having that intention to listen to something, then have notes, and then you are jotting them down in a specific place. Because of this entire activity, the information sticks better in your head. The kind of recall you have based on this, right? Because I think I call this subconscious Feynman technique, which is, Feynman technique is you take complex, complicated, crazy ideas and you understand them. You understand them, you understand them, you understand them till the point where you can simplify them and teach it to someone or explain it to someone who is not in that field or in that domain at all. Right? So, if you understand something, explaining it simply is not a problem. When you do this kind of information collection, you are understanding something and you are taking your perspectives, your simplifications from that to your Notion board. So you are automatically subconsciously cementing that information in your head. So I think this kind of activities also improves your overall recall for information, and you absolutely cannot change my mind about that. So there's that. I'll go back to my Notion board and show you how you can search for things. uh, it's simple, and how you can use that search functionality for, let's say, contextualizing something that you're struggling with. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. If there are any doubts, feel free to put them in the comments. I will try to address them to the best of my abilities. Okay, we are sharing our screen, and there, right there, is the search tab. Okay, that it's the common magnifying glass. You go on the magnifier and you look for specific words. Let's say I want to type, because I'm calling this productive creativity on tab, right? So let's call it, let's look for creative. Okay, so everywhere that I have used creative, I'm going to see that content show up over here. Okay, so mm, let's see this study. There you go. Okay. So we have a study where there is a creativity thing, the era, right? So people who apparently have hobbies are more liable to win Nobel Prizes. Who knew? I do. Right? So you can simply go over here and look for buzzwords. Let's go for productive. I don't think I've taken. Oh, see, there is something. But okay, there you go. Let's go for this one. There, these are tips from someone's video that I have linked in the main notes. Figure out your essentials, personal. So, if I'm working on a productivity article, for example, I can easily take uh, pointers. I can curate someone else's work and I can backlink it to them for credits, which makes my job easier. It makes attribution to the person who was the original creator easier. And because you have all of these information available right there, आपका काम थोड़ा जल्दी भी खत्म हो जाएगा, right? So the search functionality is why you want a chonky, like you want a bulky Notion board that goes on and on. If I were to explain my own personal systems, uh, I have the task where I generally do my three main things I have to get done today. I have my did this list, which is Jojo Maine Kiya. I have my mood tracker, which is what is the overall mood I was going through, because uh, I am very moody and that's not nice. That has to be fixed and worked on. तो आई ट्रैक इट ताकि मेरे को पता चले कि मतलब कितना, मतलब आए कितना एंसी बिहेवियर चल रहा है लाइफ में. And also this is also where I journal, right? Then there is the dump yard. This page is so chaotic. कोई भी random idea आ रहा है मेरे को head में, it goes here. Okay, any random things, there are tools. जैसे on Reddit there was this thread recently where someone asked tools you cannot absolutely live without. देखो कितनी सारी websites हैं. I've just stored them here and I will go through them when I have time someday. And then whichever ones are nice, I can use them. These are random ideas that I have moving on through life. These are some people whose name I encountered. ये random idea कि Taylor Swift की lyrics बहुत sensory है, right? Which is why listening to her songs evokes better emotions. This is something I can include in a storytelling piece that I'm working on, because using Taylor Swift lyrics as an example, it's extremely relatable and understandable for people. I have no idea who Sarah Goodridge is, but for some reason I have stored her name. This is a comment by Seiichiro Manabe-san on one of my posts, which was, "Do you want readers to read or do you want them to buy?" Which is such a fascinating insight when we talk about priorities you have. तो ये शायद जाएगा मेरे टील फीड के बोर्ड में, which is another creator program that I have become a part of. Then there is this poem, there's this quote in Latin, Homo homini lupus. And I'm trying to make a funny haiku type thing happen from it. So these are very, very random things. They are 99% of this shit is not going to lead to anything. But it's just here because these are brain farts I had. Look at the sheer volume of brain farts. Anytime I feel like I don't have anything to say or do or what, I have something on fan fiction, which is so cringe, but I have. So these kind of things help you with your overall creator life. These are quotes I like. These are blogs I'm working on. This is content consumption. This is Steel Feed Creator Program, जो कि मैंने arrange नहीं किया है, तो I can't show yet. This is LinkedIn, 3 hashtags I don't somehow remember. This is my own hashtag. I forget to type my own hashtag, which is why I have put it here. This is a post that will happen someday. This is the Twitter. This is the Instagram. This is the ideas that I can write up on at some point in time. I have enough to turn it into it. So, matlab, someday, if I am completely dry, I can come here and be like, ostracization and toilet, which is a funny story. The root word for toilet is ostraka. Ostraka is where we get the word ostracization from. So there's that. And that these are facts, facts that I found fascinating. These are random lines I have written which are very go away. These are videos that I might make. These are videos I have made. Right? So all of these things very, very helpful in helping you navigate your creator life. So you can definitely create this repository for yourself and then use the search function smartly to locate things that you need. Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now क्योंकि बहुत भस लिया, बहुत बोल लिया. Let's see if there are any doubts. I don't think there would be because there you go. Thank you so much for joining in as long as you did, Ritesh. Have to hop off on another call, and thank you for joining in. I'll try to. We'll do one on Obsidian too, because I think Obsidian is the goat of note taking softwares. But the thing with Obsidian is it has plugins, right? So it has very steep learning curve. Obsidian में क्या होता है? The reason why I mostly use Obsidian for my work, not for personal stuff, for work, it's because it links ideas into like a node, right? So it will link. Say I look up creativity, instead of showing that search result, Obsidian ऐसे रेडियल बना देता है. तो ऐसे क्रिएटिविटी का सर्कल बनेगा और वहां से ऐसे टक टक रेज निकलेंगे कि दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव रिटन इन रैंडम प्लेसेस. तो visualizing your search query is just on Obsidian, which is why I use it for work, because I mostly work with academia. So there's a lot of information to go through, and most of the information is it's very akin to the Rashomon effect, right? There's his truth, her truth, their truth, the truth. So it becomes so easy to contextualize and visualize things with Obsidian. But Obsidian ka learning curve, it took me a while to learn it. I have no idea how I will be able to teach it to people. Because to this day, I sometimes get confused with it. So I think Obsidian is not as user friendly as Notion, but it's definitely the next step if you want to up your note taking game. We have Sankalp with this is so cool. Thank you so much, Sankalp. Uh, हमारा notes जो रहता है during the audio live, while I listen and jot down whatever someone's written, someone said, or even what I might be saying, all of that is stored in this Notion only. Or the notes from both of our calls are in here too. I'm probably going to repurpose it into a newsletter. And when I do, I'll definitely be backlinking to all of your LinkedIn profiles, because giving credit is also important, right? Sometimes what happens is we unconsciously get inspired by people, but we forget कि inspiration कहाँ से आई थी. So when you jot this down also, कि I heard this from this person. In the future, if you have to use an idea, a concept, something of that sort, you can very easily fall back on these notes and assign proper credits to the specific people. Thank you so much, Vivek. I am so glad that you joined in, and I'm so glad that you liked it. I think this is it for the Notion stuff. I hope you took a screenshot of those shortcuts that I showed you. And if you didn't, just look up shortcuts on Notion on Google. It will show up very quickly. Notion themselves have a Notion board of a lot of these things. I think even there are many YouTubers who specifically specialize in teaching Notion to their audience. तो उनकी वीडियो भी आप देख सकते हो for specific details about databases. But for now, as I said, just use the basic inline stuff. यहाँ से start करो, फिर maybe हो सकता है we can also do like an expert Notion thing. But ultimately, in my opinion, one of the main reasons why I tell people not to buy someone else's template and make your own, it's primarily because uh, when you make your own system like this on your own from scratch, hopefully, you acknowledge the process that you have for yourself, right? And note taking works for you if and only if you know your own productivity and creativity system. You should not follow anyone's advice in this. You should listen to yourself, or जो format आपके साथ काम करता है वो. There's a question, and how does this compare with Evernote, OneNote, and Apple Notes? So with Evernote, I think Evernote is definitely good, but I find Evernote to be slightly bulky. And again, maybe that is probably because of the way I use it. I started using Evernote for particularly aesthetic purposes, right? Ki, I am making like an ebook on Evernote. It is much better to make prettier looking stuff on Evernote. It is easier to focus on the aesthetics with this Evernote. So if note taking has to be aesthetic, I will without a doubt choose Evernote over every other software available. But previously, I didn't used to own a Mac. I used to own Dell XPS 15, right? So I was working on laptop was Windows, tablet and phone were Apple. So because of this ecosystem, Bawal, I was finding Evernote to be a bit bulky, which is I acknowledge, which is a me problem. It is not an Evernote problem. So I am actually using Evernote to combine to make that notebook. I'm calling it How I Learned Japanese for Free on the Internet, and it will be available for free on my website. क्योंकि मैंने भी free में ही सीखा था. So I am doing that on Evernote because it's really good. If you are a visual note taker, if you rely on scribbly formats of notes and things like that, so definitely like Evernote. I have never used OneNote, so I won't be able to comment on OneNote. I definitely have used Apple Notes, and I do use Apple Notes for taking voice memos. You can do voice memos on Notion as well. Just do that backsplash and go audio and then record into it. However, because of that 5 MB limit on the free plan, I'm using the free plan. I prefer to have all my audio notes on Apple. Advantage of using Apple Notes for audio notes is within Apple, because of the ecosystem that they have, the I translate and the transcribing option. Sometimes I will take notes in Gujarati, which is my mother tongue. Sometimes I'll take in English. On days when I'm feeling super confident, I will take my audio note in Japanese, and I want the access of my notes in multiple languages, right? So I can just hook that audio recording to the transcriber and the translator, and it automatically prepares a transcript for me. So nobody does it better than Apple Notes. If you are someone like me who sometimes chooses audio over every other platform, because I use speech to text a lot, and it's very convenient, to be honest. So in that, I think Apple Notes is the goat, because you can use inbuilt Apple software, inbuilt Apple apps that it has available for all its own users. You can use them, and something that would take you an hour, it will do it like this. All you have to do is go back and just make a few edits, right? Just say potato का वो potatoes कर देगा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, right? It's just about removing an S. So I think Notion compares very well to all of these individual softwares. But I think Evernote and Apple Notes, two softwares that I have used here, they have hyper specific functionality. Whereas Notion, सबके लिए चलेगा. So Notion is काम चलाओ टिकाऊ option. But if you have some very specific things you want done, as I said, for very aesthetic looking notes that you are probably going to repurpose as sketch notes or an ebook or something like that, use Evernote, in my opinion. And if you are trying to use Apple tools to make your life easier, use Apple Notes, because it is just absolutely brilliant. And with that modern uh, it is actually like my own handwriting. I take photos of my handwriting. Back in the day, I would take notes and pages, then I would type it down, right? That was something I had to do every night. Now I just take a photo of it on my iPad, and I just have to select the text and copy it directly in the Notes app of Apple, in Apple Notes. And it is so intuitive. It has understood my handwriting, I think. So it is saving me a lot of time. So I use Apple Notes as my stepping stone for all the other apps that I use, right? So I think that would be the advantage. Thank you, Vinati. I got some useful tips. Yay! That's what we wanted. Hope that I didn't blur too much. I know I did. I always do. Notion's beauty is that I can use it as a notepad, content curator, road mapper, and goal manager. I couldn't have said it better myself, Sankalp. Exactly. Notion is one stop shop. आप सब कुछ कर सकते हो उस पे. Is सब कुछ possible है. Only limitation of Notion is, as I said, the free plan is 5 MB. So if I want to do an actual video embed, the video file is 23 MB. That becomes a problem. So you'll have to upload it on YouTube, फिर उसको private करके फिर यहाँ पे embed करो. तो ऐसे सारे extra steps happen on Notion. But with if you manage that properly, you can get everything done on Notion, which is why a lot of people in the creativity productivity space are using Notion a lot, because it is super convenient. It just is. So yes, I'm going to quote Sankalp on this. Notion is a notepad, a content curator, a road mapper, and a goal manager. Absolutely. Uh, we have Karthik coming in. Thank you, Vinati. Clear explanation. I'm glad I was able to help. Then there is for the Denise. I hope you are coming for the webinar. If you are not, I totally understand. हम वैसे भी गप ही मारने वाले हैं उसमें. I'm so bad at sales and marketing. This is how you hit yourself in the foot. Ki people don't come only to your workshop. But there you go. I think I think I can wrap this up. The Notion basics for writers. Again, I'm going to reiterate कि this was for writers. Writers don't need to learn all of these other. You can learn it. You should learn it. Actually, मैंने भी खुद learn किया. But when you just focus on learning and when you don't do anything about it, you will not develop a habit of starting on this platform, right? So start with these basic things, some shortcuts, the plus to the plus, the at, and the backsplash. Okay, and explore. And tinker around with views, tinker around with the templates that Notion has, और अपनी system खुद बनाने की कोशिश करो. Make your own system and then see how well it's working for you. Okay. Thank you so much, Sankalp. I have to actually thank you. You created the perfect summary for the whole thing. And totally appreciate you for being there on so many of these live experiments. Anywho, so it seems like there are no doubts. I'm going to wrap this up. And those of you who are going to join the webinar, I will see you there. हम वैसे गप ही मारने वाले हैं. If you have very specific doubts about Notion, bring those there, even if those doubts are थोड़ा भारी level वाला, even if they are database doubts, because databases are absolutely brilliant if you're collaborating with a lot of people. So if you have those kind of doubts as well, feel free to bring those there. यहाँ पे करेंगे तो beginners will get confused, right? They'll be like, बहुत मुश्किल है, I'm not going to do it. We don't want that to happen. We want people to try it out for themselves. So there you go. I will see you soon. The next live will happen randomly. I because time is becoming very problematic for me these days. It's very busy. I'm going to be talking about three things in that live. The antitrust trial that the United States of America has against Penguin and Simon and Schuster's merger. Two of the big five publishers are trying to merge, and the United States of America is trying to stop them, because अगर ये हो गया तो book publishing market में money became very problematic for authors and creators. So I'll be talking about that antitrust trial. I'll be talking about Barnes and Nobles not uh, announcing that they're not going to carry titles by new authors, and the entire logic behind something like this being announced. And then finally, I'll be talking about the thing that is the only thing that seems to be selling a lot of books these days: book talk or book TikTok. So this live will happen someday. I don't know when, but that is going to be the next LinkedIn live. Feel free to join in that one, because that is going to be very domain specific. What work I do, publishing books and helping people publish their books and things like that. So yeah, these three are good bad news for the publishing industry, depends on how you interpret it. So yeah, we'll be discussing that in the next one. For now, I'm going to wrap the live up. Bye. I hope you try Notion. See you in the next one. And ending the stream. Thank you